Hello, I'm Severin Suzuki speaking for ECHO, the Environmental Children's Organization. We're a group of 12 and 13-year-olds trying to make a difference. Vanessa Setti, Morgan Geisler, Michelle Quigg, and me. We've raised all the money to come here ourselves, to come 5,000 miles to tell you adults you must change your ways. Coming up here today, I have no hidden agenda. I am fighting for my future. Losing my future is not like losing an election or a few points on the stock market. I am here to speak for all generations to come. I am here to speak on behalf of the starving children around the world whose cries go unheard. I am here to speak for the countless animals dying across this planet because they have nowhere left to go. I am afraid to go out in the sun now because of the holes in our ozone. I am afraid to breathe the air because I don't know what chemicals are in it. I used to go fishing in Vancouver, my home, with my dad, until just a few years ago we found the fish full of cancers. And now we hear of animals and plants going extinct, every day vanishing forever. In my life, I have dreamt of seeing the great herds of wild animals, jungles and rainforests full of birds and butterflies. But now I wonder if they will even exist for my children to see. Did you have to worry of these things when you were my age? All this is happening before our eyes, and yet we act as if we have all the time we want and all the solutions. I'm only a child, and I don't have all the solutions. But I want you to realize, neither do you. You don't know how to fix the holes in our ozone layer. You don't know how to bring the salmon back up a dead stream. You don't know how to bring back an animal now extinct. And you can't bring back the forest that once grew where there is now a desert. If you don't know how to fix it, please stop breaking it. Here, you may be delegates of your government, business people, organizers, reporters, or politicians. But really, your mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, aunts and uncles, and all of you are someone's child. I'm only a child, yet I know we are all part of a family, 5 billion strong. In fact, 30 million species strong. And borders and governments will never change that. I'm only a child, yet I know we are all in this together and should act as one single world towards one single goal. In my anger, I am not blind, and in my fear, I am not afraid of telling the world how I feel. In my country, we make so much waste. We buy and throw away, buy and throw away, buy and throw away, and yet northern countries will not share with the needy. Even when we have more than enough, we are afraid to share. We are afraid to let go of some of our wealth. In Canada, we live the privileged life, with plenty of food, water, and shelter. We have watches, bicycles, computers, and television sets. The list could go on for 2 days. 2 days ago, here in Brazil, we were shocked when we spent time with some children living on the streets. This is what one child told us. I wish I was rich. And if I were, I would give all the street children food, clothes, medicines, shelter, and love and affection. If a child on the streets who has nothing is willing to share, why are we who have everything still so greedy? I can't stop thinking that these are children my own age, that it makes a tremendous difference where you are born. That I could be one of those children living in the favelas of Rio. I could be a child starving in Somalia, or a victim of war in the Middle East, or a beggar in India. I am only a child, yet I know if all the money spent on war was spent on finding environmental answers, ending poverty, and finding treaties, what a wonderful place this earth would be. At school, even in kindergarten, you teach us how to behave in the world. You teach us to not fight with others, to work things out, to respect others, to clean up our mess, not to hurt other creatures, to share, not be greedy. Then why do you go out and do the things you tell us not to do? Do not forget why you are attending these conferences, who you're doing this for. We are your own children. You are deciding what kind of world you're growing up in. Parents should be able to comfort their children by saying, everything's going to be all right. It's not the end of the world, and we're doing the best we can. But I don't think you can say that to us anymore. Are we even on your list of priorities? My dad always says, you are what you do, not what you say. Well, what you do makes me cry at night. You grown-ups say you love us, but I challenge you, please, make your actions reflect your words. Thank you.
And some people couldn't find this in trying to talk to the parents or the so-called other generation, you know, because they have a way of overprotecting their people so much as where they put them in boxes, you know, and they put themselves in boxes, and that's not the right way of living, because younger people, their minds are a little more keener and they can figure this out. So therefore, since they can't get release and respect from the older people, then they go into these other things, and their music gets louder and it gets rebellious because it's starting to form a religion, you know. And because you're not going to find it in church. A lot of kids, you know, don't find nothing in church. I remember when I got thrown out of church because I had the improper clothes on. I had tennis shoes and a suit, and they said, well, that's not proper. So we don't have no money to get anything else. So I just got thrown out of church anyway, and it's nothing but an institution. So they're going to have to find nothing there. And so then it moves on to trying to find yourself, you know. So therefore, you see somebody look maybe kind of freaky or playing very radical, regardless if it's good or bad, you know. And then quite naturally, they take up to this person or these people. It's up to the people to preach the proper thing to them through the music. Well, like I say, I never consider myself even started yet. You know, that's for everybody else to say that you made it and all this. I don't consider I made it. But I do see, you know, influences and all that. And it seems to me that it's just what I said before. It's just they're trying to find their own identification through us sometimes, you know, which is not bad because we don't preach violence or aggression. This is a very good thing to have around. It's better than politics, you know. They look up to us sometimes quicker than they will look up to what the president says, you know. And, you know, like clothes and so forth. Some people just want to wear these clothes, but that's not harmful at all. That's just a person, you know, he's doing his own thing with his clothes and so forth. There's so many things that people just get misunderstood. We're trying to get across communication with the old and young, and I think some of them are finally understanding that part of it. And plus, we try to get across laziness on anybody's part, regardless if they're old and young. And that takes a few more songs and a few more gigs to get that across really strong enough. Because, like, I used to see a lot of people just sit around, get stoned, and not really, all they do is protest and not really try to do anything about it, you know. I said, well, listen, you could be a dishwasher until you finally get yourself together. They said, yeah, but, you know, and all this. They don't want to know about that, you know, so I know where the trouble is. A lot of it's laziness. So then I work towards, you know, so then I experience different things. I go through the hang of myself, and then what I find out, I write to other people because it has nothing to do with aggression or nothing like that anyway. Because that's just nothing but taking 2 steps back, you know. And the other people have to realize this too, or else they're going to be fighting for the rest of their lives.
Totally out of your body, actually going somewhere without taking your body with it, outer space, keep up.
Yeah.
Where you go when you go?
I don't know, man. It seems like this little cinder in space that's just rotating, constantly rotating, and there's these souls on it, and like you're sitting there like as cattle at a water hole. There's no rap actually going on. There's no emotions that are strung out actually, you know. Next thing you know, you'd be drawn to a certain thing, and all of a sudden, like it's bright, and you see yourself being the page being turned, and see yourself next to a soldier being cut down. You know, you arrive on a scene as where everything is beautiful, lush green, brighter than day, low air pollution. And like you see a completely crystal scene of a soldier being shot down. All of a sudden you feel yourself helping that soldier up. But not his uniform, but you're feeling yourself helping another vibe, another sense of that soldier. It seems like a soul of it, you know, you're helping it up. And then you whisk back to the water hole or the oasis of the soul. And you're sitting there and you're rapping again or something, eating banana cream pie, and all of a sudden, the next thing you know, you see, look at yourself down at the left paw of the Sphinx and the tomb of King Blah and his friendly Phaeacians. And it's all-night social workers with mattresses tied around their backs.
Each neuron has a voltage, which can change when ions flow in or out of the cell. Once a neuron's voltage has reached a certain level, it will fire an electrical signal to other cells, which will repeat the process. When many neurons fire at the same time, we can measure these changes in the form of a wave. Brainwaves underpin almost everything going on in our minds, including memory, attention, and even intelligence. As they oscillate at different frequencies, they get classified in bands such as alpha, theta, and gamma. Each are associated with different tasks. Brainwaves allow brain cells to tune into the frequency corresponding to their particular task while ignoring irrelevant signals, similar to how a radio homes in on different waves to pick up radio stations. The transfer of information between neurons becomes optimal when their activity is synchronized. This is the same reason why we experience cognitive dissonance, the frustration caused by simultaneously holding two contradictory ideas. Will is merely the drive to reduce dissonance between each of our active neural circuits. Evolution can be seen as the same process where nature tries to adapt or resonate with its environment. By doing so, it evolved to a point where it became self-aware and began to ponder its own existence. When a person faces the paradox of wanting purpose while thinking that human existence is meaningless, cognitive dissonance occurs. Throughout history, this has led many to reach for spiritual and religious guidance, challenging science as it failed to give answers to existential questions, such as why or what am I?